reggae, ooh yeah, rock and roll jukebox.
Well, it's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue shoe.
And country girl. All new shows on Spectrum on Air. Visit our website on spectrumonair.com or listen on Mixcloud Live.
Don't forget, you can listen to this radio station on the Get Me Radio platform. Download the Get Me Radio app and listen on your Android or Apple mobile phone, and a whole range of TV apps such as Roku, Fire, Android and Apple TV. You can also listen on Alexa and Google Home devices. Just search for Get Me Radio. Download the apps and listen to this radio station on your favorite devices.
If you love electronic music, then you need to tune in on Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. with me, Suzanne Letting, on Let's Get It On. Each week, I am going to be bringing you brand new releases. So if that kind of music is your cup of tea, then why don't you join me Saturdays at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Repeated on Mondays at midnight and 1 a.m. and again on Thursdays 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. So grab that cup of tea, that cup of coffee, or even a glass of wine, and let's get lost in some music together on Let's Get It On the radio station that brings colour to the airwaves, Spectrum on Air.
Having trouble advertising your act? Need more exposure without breaking the bank? Here at CJC Promotions, we believe that teamwork, bonding and having fun go hand in hand with promoting your work. We believe in artists getting the exposure they deserve without experiencing the stressful side of social media and advertising. With contacts worldwide covering a multidisciplined media environment, we can target your talent so you gain the experience without the consequence of wasted time in unproductive ventures. So, if you are serious about getting your talent out there, just contact Catherine at cjcpromotions.co.uk. That's Catherine at cjcpromotions.co.uk. And remember, our aim is to nurture your talent, not exploit it.
You are listening to Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio.
I'm Barry. I'm Bob Bluffield. I'm Alan Mallion. Together we are the Grumpy Old Men.
Every Saturday morning between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Only on Spectrum on Air. Often controversial, sometimes fun, but never dull. The Grumpy Old Men bring you their slant on world events and current affairs. 8 to 10 Saturday mornings. And a very warm welcome from the Grumpy Old Men team this morning, but a warning for you that this show contains free speech from the presenters, which may upset or offend. But a very warm welcome to Bob and to Alan and to everybody else as well who's there. There's Terry and there's Chris and they're joining in droves this morning.
They are indeed.
Right, okay. Well, we're looking forward to a nice weekend here in the United Kingdom where the sun is shining. And Bob's saying that there's going to be thunderstorms tomorrow.
Apparently so. That was what they said yesterday. It may not be here. It said south and southwest. So,
well, that's not.
I hope not. I'm doing a car boot sale tomorrow.
It depends how far they call south, doesn't it? You know, they're never that accurate.
I'll tell you what, we got more to worry about than the thunderstorms. We've got to worry about that Russian thing landing on Milton Keynes.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Oh, it's pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is pathetic, and it made my blood boil, actually, to see two grown men who are grown leaders. Well, they're not grown leaders, but they are leaders, making a right swat of themselves by talking to each other like they were two little boys who just won a packet of sweeties.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Trump and Keir Starmer.
Oh, I didn't bother to see it. I'm fed up with looking at Keir Starmer, thank you.
Oh, you should have watched it because it was absolutely pathetic.
He's been played by Trump, I think.
Of course it is.
I think Trump is. There was somebody talking yesterday saying that this is going to cost us £8 billion.
Yep.
This deal, we're going to be £8 billion worse off.
Yep.
And what's this about? We've got to import their beef when we decided we don't want their beef because their beef is not safe because of these proteins or whatever it is they put in it.
Yeah. Hormones.
That's the thing, Alan. Yeah. Are they going back on this now? Then are we going
I love the way that Mike paints his picture of doom and gloom about absolutely everything. Actually, Keir Starmer did a fantastic job for us in negotiating a deal with a madman. He played his cards exactly right. All right, we've now saved the British automotive industry thousands of jobs because we've managed to get that ridiculous 25% tax on vehicles taken away. Big bonus.
Big bonus.
We've also saved what little industry we have in steel making. Because now that 25% tariff's been taken away, right? We're the same as the rest of the world with the 10% tariff. Everybody's got that. But it's a major success for British diplomacy and British soft diplomacy. And actually, Keir Starmer did a fantastic job. And we should all bow down in gratitude to him.
Are you winding us up?
No. Of course
he is.
I think you're a bit misled.
Would I do a thing like that?
Listen to a lot of the experts on it, and they're saying the exact opposite.
Well, I've listened to a lot of experts, and they're saying the exact opposite.
Well, wait and see. I think Trump is shafting us. Like everybody's trumping, shafted Starmer at the moment. I think. What's Starmer doing in Norway yesterday? Why is he now in Ukraine? He just likes to be seen with other world leaders.
Yeah.
He likes to be the big man, and he's not.
Right.
And he should be in this country.
They reckon that Trump is just waiting until he gets an invite. Well, he's got the invite, but just wait until he goes to the Buckingham Palace and sees the King and all that. He'll probably say to King Charles, right, while I'm here, get the sword out and, tap it on my shoulders, make me an honorary knight, And, you're not going to do that, Charles? Oh, well, I'm going back to the US, mate, and we'll put our tariffs back on.
Yeah, but a lot of it's not been decided yet, has it? No, this is, bears what you're saying, Mike, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's waiting for his visit, and then after his visit, and then he decides that he's going to pump these tariffs on things.
But when he turns around, I mean, you didn't watch it. I did. He's in the Oval House. He's sat down.
I don't think. Do you know what? I don't think that he's even the Oval Office. He did. I think
Mandelson and all that are all standing up, and Mandelson, the British ambassador, who sort of 6 months ago had turned around and said that Trump's worst thing in the world and all this, and they're closing up like two bloody mates.
It's sickly, isn't it?
Mandelson says a few words about it, and Trump says, "Oh, thank you for those kind words. Very kind words. They're kind words you said. Thank you."
Very words, yeah.
And that accent, that's great accent. My mother wishes I had an accent like that. I mean, come on, hang on a minute. Yeah.
I know. I think it's sick. I don't think that's even in the Oval Office because he cut back yesterday on a shot I saw, and he looked like a studio set, just a backdrop. Not a backdrop, but a half an Oval Office sort of thing.
Well, he's probably pinched that from Alan.
Yeah.
Because Alan's sitting in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah.
Waiting for them to arrive, yeah. But, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. But I think he's selling us out big time. I mean, it's like the India deal, isn't it? The India deal, okay. They're saying other countries can send their people here without having to pay national insurance. Well, what is this going to do? Employers are going to save national insurance. Employers are now going to be employing a big influx of Indians. We're going to get thousands upon thousands of Indians arriving. Now, you watch.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands, I bet.
Nothing's been changed on that.
What do you mean nothing's been changed?
Nothing's been changed on immigration from India. There's been no changes as a result of this deal. The only changes that have been is
national insurance. national insurance issue, isn't it?
And it's a national insurance issue, but that doesn't increase immigration. That's not going to produce thousands of workers.
It probably will, because there's no quotas on it. There's no cap on it. They can come over in as many as they like.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in that deal about immigration. That was one of the stipulations that the government had, that they were not going to accept, mass immigration from India. That was not on the cards. What we do have on the cards is we've got Indian workers that work for Indian companies in the UK who are actually paying their national insurance back into the Indian national insurance system, and English workers in India pay their national insurance, not to India, but to
how many British workers go to India? Well, not that many compared to how many Indians will come over here.
But nevertheless, those that do have got now pay back into the British NHS, not the Indian NHS. Where is this? Where's this bloody idea that we're going to have boatloads of Indians coming over tomorrow as a result?
They won't come on the boats. These won't come on the boats. These ones will come legally. It's opening the door to tens of thousands, as many as they like.
Where do you get that from?
Well, listening to a lot of the debates on it this week, this is what a lot of people are saying.
It's absolute rot, because it's got the absolute one thing that the British government took out of the negotiations was anything to do with immigration and immigration status. Nothing has changed. It's exactly the same. The only thing that has changed is the national insurance rules. So, this is scaremongering.
I don't think so.
No, I don't either. I agree with you.
Okay, well, there's nothing I can do if you don't think so.
Well, wait and see. We can wait and see, can't we? Who's right and who's wrong.
But we'll see what happened. But it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. Immigration is not part of the equation for this trade deal.
Well, the business community are not liking it, are they? Because they're saying, we've been shafted on increasing national insurance, and now people are coming over to work ad infinitum, it would seem, but you disagree with, and they won't have to pay it.
Yeah.
So, who are these cheapskate employers going to take on?
And it's a double whammy bite as well, because they'll come over here, they won't pay it, but yet they'll turn up at the hospitals and get treated. We'll treat them.
Also will. That'd be part of the agreement, won't it?
Yeah. We'll treat them for free.
Mm. Did you see Radicanku, what his name is attacked a prison officer now?
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Threw boiling water on him.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, sticking with Trump and Starmer, I mean, I've never seen. It's a shame you didn't see it, Bob. Actually, because I think you'd agree with me that it was childish.
I can't believe
There's
it.
no other word for it. Absolute childish.
Star Wars in there, though, was he?
Who?
Star Wars in there. It was the Prince of Darkness, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, but Starmer did a Zoom call or a Teams call,
Oh, right, okay.
From JLR, Jaguar Land Rover, Jaguar Land Rover, and they showed you this thing. They showed you the two old boys talking, and I mean, it was pathetic. As I say, it was like two little kids in the playground that had just got a packet of sweets or something,
or like a little kid that had just managed to save 20,000 jobs at Jaguar Land Rover.
Oh, get out of there, Alan.
Well,
Why are you suddenly?
Always tell me anything that you don't like.
Why are you suddenly pro Starmer, Alan?
I'm not pro Starmer. I think he's a complete twat. But he can't be.
He's done these major deals, can he?
What I really don't like is his binary approach, where he's all bad or all good. He's got some good bits, he's got some bad bits. I mean, what he's done to elderly people and the winter fuel allowance is the most stupid political move of all time. I've got no quarter with him, but on the diplomacy that he's actually exercised between Britain and the United States, he's actually done a fairly good job, to be fair.
No, that was a good shrewd move, actually, doing the stuff in the pensioners, because the thing was that's going to kill a lot of them off earlier. Yeah. So that's going to save the government pension money, you see.
Yes, of course.
Well, there was a lovely thing yesterday by an organisation called Silver Voices, who represent the elderly people, and they got all the figures a state saying we're not in a dire state over the pension funds. We can afford to pay it. We can afford to pay a lot more. We're way down the league table of amounts of pensions we get compared to other world powers.
Yeah.
Other not civilized. What's the word? You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Alan doesn't, but we do. You know. So.
The league tables of civilized Western countries, we are way down in terms of pension.
Yeah.
Like, if we lived in somewhere like Spain, we'd be getting a lot more.
Yeah, most countries.
You know, Germany would certainly be getting
developed countries. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Star apparently didn't know about this deal until the day before.
Yeah.
About what deal?
How did he broker this deal? The American deal.
Well, he had his man out there doing the job for him, didn't he?
Is he a man? Is he? Yeah. Anderson?
Rachel from accounts was out there the week before.
Well, she's gone a bit quiet. She hasn't been on the box lately, has she?
No, she didn't come back saying, "Oh, we negotiated this, that, and the next thing."
Well, she said she said almost the opposite, didn't she? She put her foot in it, didn't she, over something?
Yeah.
Saying that dealing with the EU is more important than dealing with America.
I think the thing is that Mandelson was right last night on BBC Newsnight, I think, when he said that, these deals have taken months of hard negotiation. And it's absolutely right, you know.
I don't know with Trump. Do you think that? Or is he just sort of comes up with something the day before? Or
he comes
during the night while he's on Twitter or whatever he goes on?
Yeah, because apparently
these ideas and he passes them, doesn't he?
There's some little funny stories going around at the moment as well about the White House because Donald's good lady hasn't been seen for a long time now.
She wasn't last time, was she? Once he got in? Or after he got out, shall I say, during the interim?
I think she must get £1 million an appearance or something.
Well, it's a bit.
No, I don't think all is right there. Do you?
No. Well, all is not right from Trump downwards, isn't it? You know.
Well, Vance looks like he could be quite dangerous. He's obviously, wants to be president, doesn't he? So there's going to be some sort of coup going on there at some point, I think.
Yeah, well, of course, J.D. Vance has got the Pope on his side now, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and Lammy coming out with the fact if it's black smoke, it's racist.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
But these people are ministers of state, for God's sake, and they're coming out with these bland, stupid comments.
Well, that seems to be the way in America, particularly, that they, we do a fair amount of it in this country, but nothing. America actually wins, and Trump wins the prize for being, the biggest twat of them all when it comes to just making strange, bizarre claims about all sorts of things.
Well, Google's now suing America, isn't it? Sorry, Mexico's suing Google for calling the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And he's now going to do it. Where's he going to do it? Where's the next one he's going to go to? There's somewhere else he's going to change the name of the sea.
Oh, it's all over the place. We're going to have, it's not going to be called the Atlantic Ocean anymore. It's going to be called the American Ocean. And it's not going to be called the English Channel. It'll be called the Anglo-American Channel. Mm. The man's completely off his trolley. He is a fruitcake. And
the trouble is he's dangerous, isn't he?
Yeah.
The trouble is now he's creeping in and he's now saying it, that I'm the president. I don't have to adhere to the Constitution.
Is he?
From Trump.
Yeah.
I'm saying, is he?
Which means that he's going to say, well, I'm the president and I'm going to remain the president. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, what he actually said is that the Constitution is open to interpretation.
Yeah, well, he wants to be like Putin, doesn't he? In for life, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Did you know something? I think what he does brilliantly is he throws these little bombs out about, all sorts of stuff just to cover up what's really happening. And what's really happening is America's taken an economic nosedive, the likes of which it hasn't done since the Great Depression. And he's putting out all these things about invading Greenland and everything else as a sort of a side issue that occupies people and stops them talking about the.
Well, they all do that, don't they? But America will be great again. Great. You know that these great people working behind the scenes.
Lovely people.
Lovely people.
I mean, when you think about what the man said, that as soon as I get in, I'm ending the war with Ukraine within 24 hours. I'm going to. But
he's claiming he didn't say that now, hasn't he?
Well,
or not in the terms it's been translated.
Yeah. But I'm going to make Gaza into a Mediterranean Riviera or Red Sea Riviera.
It could be if they stop fighting, couldn't it?
Well, that's what upsets me really, because places like that are absolutely ideal. I mean, the tourist industry would flock there.
Yeah,
lovely beaches.
The sad thing is that all they want to do is fight. They haven't got the mentality, have they?
No.
To build, and I think this is part of what it is. They resent Israel, I think, in many ways, because they took a bit of desert and they turned it into a fantastic place, which is booming economically.
Yeah.
And they could have done the same, but they haven't got the mentality. They'd sooner fight and kill people. That's all they know, isn't it?
Yeah, but mind you, I'd accuse Israel of doing exactly the same at the moment, because they seem to be a bunch of bleeding mindless thugs. They're unnecessary. I think using starvation as a weapon is just so wrong against the civilian population.
I don't believe all you hear about that. There's a lot of corruption going on. Who's taking the aid? Who's taking the aid?
I believe the reports I've heard from the BBC are probably the most accurate information.
Cool.
Oh, you don't? I also GB News.
Listen to people
I don't
listen to Douglas Murray and people like that who spend a lot of time out there on both sides.
Yeah, I have listened to Douglas Murray.
Yeah, what does he say about it?
He said they're using food as a tactical weapon.
He's not said that. When did he say that?
I'm sure that's what he said. That's
no,
everybody's saying.
No, they're not. Everybody's not saying it. It's a propaganda machine by
the World Health Organization is definitely saying it.
Well, you don't want to believe them either. They're a corrupt organisation run by the Chinese.
So you can't believe anybody like the BBC, the World Health Organization, but Mr. Murray, he's on it. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And in fact, my mate Tony down the pub, he knows better than all of those as well.
No, he don't, because I go down the pub.
Ah, well. See, that's the problem. He doesn't pick up what's going on the ground without going down the pub.
I've researched an awful lot of this, and it's not all it seems. No, nothing's all it seems, is it? We all know this.
Yeah, we all know that. Nothing's ever what it seems. But, I also believe that some of the reports that I do get are actually fairly accurate. And, the actual logistics...
Yeah, but you say you watch Fox News, Alan.
I do.
Well, there you go. Then that sums it up, doesn't it? And the Daily Mail.
I like to see a balance. I watch it on YouTube.
You want to look at a site called Ground News.
Ground News.
Ground News, but you've never heard of it, have you?
No.
Well, it's an organisation that takes all the press reports and it judges the accuracy of them by matching them against one another. Look it up.
Yeah, okay. Well, the trouble is, the real problem is, in all seriousness, is who do you believe?
Well, that's right.
Because you get like, who knows what Ground News' background agenda is?
Well, this is what you hear. Well, it's so they're now trying to slag off the organisation of investigative journalists and saying that's backed by somebody or other. I'm not quite sure who.
I think we live on a planet where knowing what to believe is probably the most difficult choice that you have when it comes to forming an opinion on any particular subject, because you watch the same story on 4 different channels and you get 4 different versions of the same story.
Yeah.
And Fox News, well, I mean, they are just so.
Yeah, but BBC have had to apologise, I think, 11 times for getting inaccuracies about Gaza.
Oh, I think Fox News is just a political, marketing exercise for right-wing America.
Didn't Steve Bannerman used to run it?
I don't know who used to run it, to be honest. But it is, you watch it for 10 minutes and you go, really? Can people actually believe this absolute twaddle?
Yeah, the trouble is you watch the BBC for 2 minutes and you go, really?
Yeah.
Well, no, I watched the BBC. I mean, like Keir Starmer, the BBC are perfect.
Well,
he's winding us up.
I'm really surprised as a Liberal Democrat, Alan, you're taking that sort of stance, because I don't think if Daisy knew about this, I think Daisy would be really. Daisy
would be making me a cup of tea if she knew about it.
She would be perplexed about it.
She'd say, Alan, what you need, mate, is a nice cup of tea.
Really, is that what she does?
Yeah.
Well, she would make me one because she would see my need.
It's about the only thing the Lib Dems are good about: serving ice cream and making cups of tea.
Oh, we're the best in the world politically. We're the best political party in the world. If you want to get
Davey, when he stands up in questions, he's losing it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Keir Starmer, Ed Davey.
Yeah. Sorry, who's losing it? Keir Starmer or Ed Davey?
Ed Davey.
Ed Davey's losing it. I don't think he ever had it, mate.
Really?
I mean, his problem is, he's done very well as leader. It's taken the party from 12 to 72 MPs. That's not a bad job for a leader. So, you got to judge things on results, and he's got a result. And he got a result by being, doing silly things and getting more publicity than we were going to get if they'd have just played it straight. Because the Liberal Democrats...
publicity, but is it the right publicity? He's making you look a twat, isn't he?
Do you think that's what got him the MPs?
I think it helped bring the profile of the Liberal Democrats up.
Well, I'm afraid when I saw him sort of galloping around on a wooden horse, jumping over...
That was funny as heck, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't funny. It was pathetic.
No. See, if you don't agree with it, it's pathetic. If you do agree with it, it was funny.
Yeah.
In your little switchgear that sits between your ears.
Yeah, well, what good is it doing the party?
Sorry?
What good is it doing your party? The silly party.
It took us from 12 to 72 MPs. That's a little marker.
No, not by running around like a hobby horse.
No.
Well, I think that...
I think he was more sensible in the past than he is now.
Yeah, but we weren't getting any coverage in the past. What it did is it managed to raise the profile of the party.
What is it? I want to join that party because they do idiotic things. Then is that what it's all about?
No, you're getting coverage. All publicity is good publicity, isn't it? For the most part.
No.
It's better to be talked about than not talked about, mate.
Well, that's true. But, if people are talking about you and ridiculing, it's a bit silly, isn't it?
Well, I mean...
I'll tell you what, you can talk about it, but, seeing that sort of behaviour doesn't in any shape or form make me decide that, I'm going to vote Liberal Democrat next.
No.
I'm afraid I want them to tell me things like, I'm going to get rid of bring back the pensioners' fuel allowance and things like that. That's much more.
That isn't going to happen.
Well, I don't know. If Mr. Farage gets in, mate, reform.
Yeah, the old farmers are going to be quiet, aren't they, at the moment? And they're not happy about this America deal either, are they? About the beef and stuff coming in?
No.
Why? I don't think they've got very much to worry about, actually, because, British beef is pretty well British beef. Particularly Scottish beef is the best in the world.
Yeah, so is Irish. It's good too.
Irish is pretty good, but Aberdeen Angus has got to be the best steak ever.
Yeah, but
a fillet of Aberdeen Angus.
Not everybody can afford. Not everybody can afford that, can they? So they're going to be challenged by this cheap stuff that's coming in from America.
Yeah,
hormonal meat.
Yeah,
hormonal.
And it won't be long before we have Kentucky Fried Chickens coming across. All chlorinated inside.
Yeah, what's wrong? I think chlorinating chickens is quite a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we put it in our swimming pools. Why don't we? washing the chicken in chlorine to...
We don't eat swimming pools.
No, we drink the damn things.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
I don't go in swimming pools because I don't like chlorine.
Well, there you go. And if you don't like chlorine, don't buy chlorinated chickens.
I don't go.
No, that's the trouble.
I don't go into swimming pools because I don't like other people's wee.
Yeah. Well, they got stuff in. They got stuff in that turns of water.
It's the best bit, isn't it?
Don't they put? Don't they? Does it all turn pink in swimming pools when they do that now?
Yeah. Well, there certainly was a chemical that they put in the pool, and if you let go a little bit,
do you go in the sea and look what floats past you in the sea? Floaters.
Yeah. Well, but all fish pee in the sea, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They also eat things in the sea, which we won't talk about when people might be having their breakfast.
Yeah.
So. And they eat all these bits of plastic from the bottles.
Oh, yeah. Well, nothing like a bit of plastic in your diet.
Just plastic fish, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got a freezer.
That's your attitude, Malian. You laugh at these things, but it probably won't be
because what makes me laugh is you taking it so seriously.
40 years ago, everybody smoked. We'd probably be sitting here on the show smoking a cigarette, Well, certainly you and me would. I know Bob never smoked.
No.
But
years ago,
we would be sitting here puffing away at cigarettes, and then they all of a sudden decide, actually, smoking, can cause lung cancer. Now then, how many years away are we away from them suddenly turning around and saying, "Oh God, don't eat fish," because all these little microplastic plasm things or whatever they're called are in them, they're killing us. Because they're going into our systems and our systems can't cope with it.
Well, this is why Richard's a vegan.
Well, yeah, but veganism is just as bad.
Well,
yeah, well, listen, is there anything you can actually eat that's not harmful?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that people are sort of saying, well, that's more harmful than that, but...
Yeah, but life is... we're not on this earth not going to have to worry about these things, I think. We just our stages in life.
I don't know about eating. I think if Alan Corrin continues coughing on like that, he won't be doing the rest of the show.
Eat what you want, when you want, and do what you want.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the thing is, there's one thing that is dead certain, and that is that we're all going to die.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter what you eat in between hands, or what you drink in between times, or what you between times. I mean, it's. I just don't know where we're going. Anyway, listener, you can listener and viewer, you can comment if you're on Mixcloud. Go into the chat box, and you find you have to actually register in, but it doesn't cost you anything. All right, you can just register in with Mixcloud, and then you can chat away. And we love to get your comments, and hopefully we'll get some comments from down under very shortly. Because
Terry said he believes his conscience. Yes,
right. That's I do as well, Terry. Actually, it's and if you're watching on YouTube as well, because we are going out on YouTube at the moment, and you can comment on the YouTube one just for free. It doesn't cost anything. Just go onto YouTube and find us. And
TV, watch Alan die on screen by the looks of it.
Sorry?
Yeah, I've got sneezes.
It's watching Alan die on screen.
Wow, this is
a heavy pollen count today.
Is it really?
Is it?
I don't know. My eyes are streaming, so I'm assuming so.
I get it from time to time. I never used to get hay fever, but all of a sudden, the last few years, I've developed it, but not to a great extent. But I get sore throats and snuzzled up noses and all that.
I get runny noses and runny eyes.
I get that terrible in the morning.
And that is that. And when I smoked, I never used to, but as soon as I go back smoking, so I think there's a lot to be said for smoking, actually.
Well, I can't see a connection there, to be honest.
Oh, you didn't. I never got runny eyes and runny noses.
Dry hair.
Well, I don't know.
I didn't lie. It's the fact we've got, we live under central heating off most of the time, don't we now? I mean, mine was on again last night because it got cold. It was a frost last night,
Was it?
Yeah. Because outside my bedroom there's a shed and the neighbours, all the roof was covered in frost. I thought, not a heavy frost, but it's frost, isn't it? Nonetheless.
A Jack Frost or a David Frost?
I'm not sure. Hello, good evening and welcome.
Yeah?
Tonight on the show, Donald Trump.
All right, we skipped over Farage and reform because, I mean, I'm beginning to have my doubts about Mr. Farage because I'm beginning to think that he's another sort of dictator, a bit like Hitler. You know, he wants to reform the country and have a country that suits, you know, is just good for everybody. And it's slightly worrying, you know, because all of these new, well, I'll say all of them, but, you know, there's a couple of new mayors, a reform. Yeah. They're going to get rid of working from home and all this sort of thing, you know.
I've not heard of this. I've not looked into it this week. I've been a bit sort of otherwise engaged this week. So I've missed out on quite a lot. Tell me more.
When you get married then, if you're engaged.
Well, there you are. Don't want to do that.
Talking about that, how is your good lady?
Yeah, doing quite well, really. Doing quite well.
That's good.
Yeah, quite well.
Good. Quite well.
She's a good person.
Nice people. Nice people, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose the other bit of news this week, which
still not paying though.
Other good bit of news which we should talk about this week, and we did refer to it earlier on with the black smoke, which was not really called for, but was the fact that we now have, or the Catholic Church has a new Pope.
American, nonetheless. I thought there had been an American Pope before, but obviously not.
No.
Yeah.
But of course, the stories are going to come out now that this has all been engineered by Trump.
Well, you don't know, do you?
Well,
I haven't watched the film Conclave yet. I'll let you know when I watched it. It might tell us.
Well,
I've bought the DVD, so we will see, won't we? Could he have mafia connections even, you know?
I mean, people were criticising him because he didn't speak in English, you know. And yet he spoke in English yesterday, apparently, and his English is very good.
I'm quite sure.
He was born in America.
Yeah. I was surprised when I did a wedding in the Vatican. I was surprised at how many American priests and nuns and that are. The one that told me to Foxtrot Alpha Oscar twice was an American nun.
Yeah.
And the priest I had for the wedding was Irish, actually, but there was another one that took part in it, so it was American as well. It was a wedding I photographed.
What were you marrying, a priest and a nun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this Pope was going to be Jewish, to be honest, but there we go.
Yeah.
This is the Pope Jewish.
I'm very surprised.
Any time I had a woman Pope.
We have.
Well, we've got to have a woman priest first, haven't we?
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen in the near future.
Oh, religion,
I must say, though, I did love the pomp and ceremony of it all, and the actual fact of the way they elect the Pope is really rather nice, isn't it?
I don't know. All those blokes locked together in a room for two or 3 days.
Yeah.
They eat and sleep there, all together, all boys together.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know whether you saw those ridiculous pictures that were going around social media of Trump dressed up as the Pope.
Yeah. Well, no, didn't he do that himself?
He did it himself.
Yeah.
He posted it. I don't know if he did it himself, but he actually posted it.
He posted it, yeah.
Was it a selfie then?
Probably.
Good Lord.
No, good Pope.
So I wonder he must have borrowed the outfit from somewhere. I suppose you could hire the Pope's outfit, couldn't you?
Yeah. I don't know. What a bizarre world we live in. You know, what a world leader does that, eh? If somebody said, "What?" I bet he wouldn't have done that as dressed like Muhammad, would he? The prophet.
No.
What would have happened if he'd done a spoof on the prophet?
Well, he would be the target of, you know, a fatwa.
Yeah, wouldn't he just?
Well, I mean, you know, you've had members of the royal family dress up as
Adolf
officers, haven't they?
Yeah, he got into trouble over that, didn't he?
Well, yeah.
What about that then? His latest speech about, you know, he doesn't know how long his dad's got to go. You know, and what's he to say?
Well, sadly, I think he's gone to the fruit and nutcase farm. You know,
Well, it seems to be, doesn't it? He's hardly going to build bridges by doing that, is he? By what he came out with, you know, he's doing the same thing exactly the same thing all over again, isn't he?
Yes, exactly.
And he's not winning any friends at all, is he?
Well, he's alienating people because I mean, there's a big scheme afoot now to have him have the what do you call it? HRH taken away from him, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I don't think constitutionally they can do that because he was actually born into it, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't offered or awarded or anything like that. He was actually born into it, so he'll always got to be an HRH. And Chris is off for a hike now, so enjoy the rest of the show and have a great day. Yeah, you have a great day as well, Chris. And
I'll tell you what, on Tuesday, when was the fly past? Sunday, wasn't it?
No, Monday.
Yeah, Monday, bank holiday, wasn't it? I was very disappointed with it. I thought if it wasn't, you know, when you look at the fly past of the past, they were a lot more aircraft. I mean, there was no Spitfire, no Hurricane. They missed on GB News. I was watching initially in terms of the BBC. They didn't show the Lancaster initially.
The thing is, Bob, we haven't got any airplanes.
Well, that's my point.
You know, we might have the airplane. We haven't got anybody to fly them.
Yeah, that's my point. I just thought it was a bit of a poor show, you know, which, you know, Peter's going to look at and laugh, isn't he?
Yeah, because the thing is, a lot of them that came over were from the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, which is a civilian organisation.
There was only one, that was the Lancaster.
But did they only do
one? There was only one civilian aircraft in that, and that was the Lancaster, Mike. You're talking about...
Why was there no Spitfires? I mean, there's still numerous Spitfires flying.
Yeah. Well, they probably haven't got any pilots to fly them.
Well, would I have, but I don't know why. What was going on there?
Well,
I don't know what was going on there either. I would have thought they'd had a Hurricane and a Spitfire would have been a logical addition.
Yeah, well, normally it would be, wouldn't it? So I really don't know what that was about.
But yeah, I don't know.
You know, and you think they'd fly around a couple of times, and not just one fly past, you know?
Well, no, that's right, isn't it? It's
where have you gone, Mike?
Oh, that's all right. I'm hiding. I'm going away for a minute. Don't you worry about it. I'm still here. I am still here. I think so, isn't it? Let's just do that there, and
shall we move on?
Yeah.
What are we going to discuss while you're?
Well, no, I think
yourself.
I think, you know, you're talking about the old celebrations. I did think that the trouble is, though, I mean, how. I mean, all right, I'm an ex-military man, you know, and I support my comrades.
I bet you dressed up in your uniform.
But how long are we going to do it for? You know, I mean, it's, you know, we don't celebrate this sort of signing of the Magna Carta, do we?
Well, I think there is a celebration down at Runnymede, but you don't generally hear about it.
There's a little thing that happens.
But they said that the numbers were in fact disappointing in London. They said there wasn't nearly as many people as they expected. I mean, even when they walked around in the morning, you know, they camp out all night, some people. There wasn't that many.
No.
And they said the tube lines were, you know, they weren't heaving. They were just like a normal day, really.
The Mall wasn't exactly full of people. I mean, you know, not like it was in previous celebrations or royal weddings and things.
That's right. They said a lot of it was down to the security. People didn't want to confront the security for some reason.
Oh, yeah, there was a whole different type of security, wasn't there? Because there was a sort of a gap.
A gate, or something.
Like a little moat effect.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, normally they just have one line of barriers, and then you're on one side of the barriers, and the police are the other side.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But what they did is they had two lines of barriers with a gap of about a metre between them. So there was a sort of you know, the security could not have been more intense.
Mm.
And very difficult to get a close look at anything if you're a punter.
Yeah.
But normally the Mall is paraded by soldiers and not policemen. You know, there are policemen there, but they're soldiers. The soldiers are all the way down it.
Were they not this time?
They weren't this time, no.
Must admit, I didn't notice. Well, again, it's probably down to numbers, isn't it?
Well, sadly, this is the case, isn't it? You know, it's.
There's an awful lot of policemen, though.
Yeah, where do they get them from?
I know.
Yeah, when you want one, you can't find one, can you?
Well, they were probably film extras, actually.
Well, we joke. I mean, how do we know this? How do we know this is not so? You know,
I'm sorry, but you know these things.
Nobody would know, would they?
No, they wouldn't, would they? You know.
Yeah. What about these Iranians? And they've arrested? They reckon that they came over on small boats, don't they? Now, what's a surprise? Why did they come to that conclusion? I wonder.
Well, the interesting thing, apparently, they were supposed to be going to make an attack on the Israeli embassy.
Yeah, well,
I don't believe that.
No, I think it was the celebrations.
Yeah, so do I.
Because of the timing.
I think they were going to try and do something in the Mall. Or, I mean, especially as the royal family and the veterans were in that sort of circle area outside the... by the statue outside Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, and I wonder whether the threat of terrorism could have been why a lot of people stayed away.
Well, you could have a very valid point there, actually, Bob.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which makes a change because it's normally invalid points come from Alan, you know. So
you love me, Mike.
Joey's got a thick skin, isn't it?
Well, he's thick, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Well,
I can't get my lighting right today. I've got a contrast in my room, which is too great to cope with, because I've got a porthole type window behind me, which is my camera is tending to set its lighting aperture, if you've got it.
Well, could I make a suggestion?
On the background. What?
Could I make a suggestion, Robert? I mean, you know, you are a photographer, an ex-photographer. You've got millions of photographs. Choose a photograph and put it onto your Zoom behind you, and then you could have that as your backdrop.
Well, I could do that, but it doesn't move, does it?
What?
It doesn't move.
Well, you don't need it to move.
What do you mean, like this one?
Yeah, well, like me, you know, I mean, I've moved out now.
Oh, I can't do it. You know I can't do it because the equipment won't cope with it.
Oh, rubbish.
You won't on this machine.
Oh, rubbish.
We've been through all this. I even bought a green screen, didn't I?
Well, it's rubbish.
It's not.
Mean, you know, you can put on.
We've been through this, haven't we, Alan? We went through this in great detail.
You know, it's an argument that I gave up on a long time ago, because there's nothing stopping your machine doing it.
Well, I'd like to know how. I've been through it all. I went through it with Mick as well. And he agrees.
Yeah, well, if he agrees, then it's right.
Mick being the technician.
Well, I mean, if you look at your screen at the moment and where the camera is, there's a little upside down V, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you just click on that little upside down V. And what does it say?
Just background effects.
Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What did I get? I just clicked on it. Nothing. Virtual background effects. None.
Well, you haven't got your camera set up right.
Isn't there one saying blur?
No.
Anyway, we'll move on. We'll talk technicals at a later stage, you know, because we're just trying to help Robert out, you know.
I've been to this. Yeah, I've been onto Zoom about it. I've had different things I've downloaded and they haven't worked. That was on the old computer. This is on this one, which is older still.
You want to get yourself a laptop?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
Oh, we won't start that again. No, we will not. Honestly, we won't start that again. Promise we won't start that again, right? So there we are. Right, we're going to move swiftly on. Are we? Yeah, let's move swiftly on. This is an interesting point in one of the national newspapers that, you know, apparently assisted dying bill, which is apparently going through Parliament at the moment and will probably become law in the not too distant future. But it's they reckon that it's going to save £100 million by legalising it.
What a way to look at it.
Well, it could save the taxpayer around £100 million a year in NHS benefits and care costs, and that's according to grim estimates published by the government.
What did you come out with?
Well,
so what they're saying really is, let's legalise murdering people, isn't it? So we can save a few bob.
Yeah.
Well, also it's going to provide lots of organs, isn't it?
Lots of jobs for undertakers.
All these researchers will have a ready supply of organs of people that are just pop their clogs.
Well, this is what the worry is, isn't it? Going back to Burke and Hare, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
You don't need to rob graves. You can just take the old codgers away and inject them. You got the body there fresh,
Yeah, you can do live transplants.
It's a bit worrying, really, isn't it?
Well, I think it's the debate, obviously, isn't it, about assisted dying? I think we've all woken up in the morning and thought, "Oh God, I wish I was dead." But that wears off.
Do you? I don't.
I've never had that feeling.
No.
Yeah.
I think I get worrying there, Mike.
Well, I get it every morning on the breakfast show, before I do the breakfast show, because when I go through the choice of music, all I get from the background is, not that. Oh, what a load of rubbish, I lose the will to live,
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, I wake up in the morning and think, I wish I felt as good as I did when I went to bed.
Well,
I feel worse in the morning it's even now. With my knee problem, it's a struggle getting in and out of bed as well. Really awkward. Everything's awkward. You get a limb you got a problem with, you don't realise how it affects everything you do in life.
Well, I don't do an awful lot, you see, so that's the best way around about it.
Well, you don't have to, I'm sitting here fine, no pain or anything. The minute I try to get up, that's when the fun starts.
Well, the story about that. Well, the thing about that then, isn't it?
What's that?
Just don't get up.
Well, you've got to.
It's simple.
You have to do certain things, like eat, drink, go to the loo and all that sort of stuff.
Well, you only got to do that once a day.
And this is where you think, oh God, I wish I lived in a bungalow.
Yeah.
Although I don't like bungalows, but it would have a good point at this moment in time.
Why don't you like bungalows?
Because you've got no upper deck.
Oh.
I don't know. I just like I don't know. I just prefer houses to bungalows.
Yeah.
I think I always associate bungalows with old people.
Oh, now you let the cat out the bag there a little bit, Yeah. It's
and you don't like to feel old, do you? But,
no.
The sad thing is we are old, and there ain't anything we can do about it.
Incidentally, talking about that as we speak, Spectrum on Air is setting up for a 2-day festival, Shamrock. That festival is on at the moment. I think there's still tickets available if you want to shoot off to it. Go on the Shamrock webpage or the Spectrum on Air webpage. But our technical departments have taken all the equipment they need down there to the site.
Where is it?
They're setting it up as we speak. Yep.
Where?
I did actually suggest that maybe they wanted to interrupt and come in on the Grumpies on Spec, but they said we're going to be too busy, and it's we've got till 12 o'clock or noon when it starts, So,
and where is it?
So there we go. That is something though to look forward to here on Spectrum on Air today and tomorrow, the 2 days of the Shamrock Festival.
Where?
Which Spectrum on Air is very heavily involved in. So we'll be, they'll be interviewing a lot of the stars and all that sort of thing. And it's actually the place to be. And I think that maybe the three of us could jump in a car and we'll go down there. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm up for it.
I'm asking you where it is. You can't keep asking where it is. You're not saying.
Well, it's in the New Forest.
Oh, is it?
Down in the New Forest, yeah. So it's not going to take long. A couple of hours to get down. Well, 2.5 hours to get down, I suppose. Maybe 3 hours. I don't know. I've been to the New Forest for a long time.
Probably about 5 hours over the way the roads are.
Yeah, I know. This is the problem, isn't it? You know, yeah. But on the assisted dying thing, you know, it's sad, isn't it, that all they're looking at is the amount of money it's going to save them, you know. And they reckon that it could be up to 4,500 deaths a year of people who are saying, you know, I don't want to live anymore. I want assisted dying.
I think there's something very sinister about this, the way they're promoting this, don't you?
Well,
so is it a suggestion that people should be doing this?
I think there are certain circumstances where if a person has got a debilitating disease, which there is no cure for,
like locked out syndrome, for example.
Yeah, and you know, and they've got all their faculties, and they decide really that no, they want to terminate their life to be in peace. Then I think they should be allowed to do it, and end the story. But I think there's going to be a lot of people whose elderly parents, for instance, are in care homes and that, it's costing a lot of money, and they're saying to the people, you know, look, they're drip feeding it into them, you know, look, we can't really afford this anymore, so you ask for assisted dying, you know, and that will save us all this money. It'll save you all this money, you know.
Well, one thing that's happened in Canada as a result of the changes in legislation is that there's been an increase in organ donation.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, that's just what one clinician was saying. He said, you know, it's actually, and it's much better to get organs donated from people that are that go through the assisted dying process rather than letting them die naturally, where the organs do deteriorate. So you get better quality organs from people in assisted dying. So I don't know. I mean, if I had a terminal diagnosis and it said you're going to have, you know, you got 3 weeks to go, and actually they're going to be 3 weeks of absolute hell, or you could have one of these little injections. And it could all be over, and you could do some good as well. I'm up for it. Might, don't know.
Yeah, but these diagnoses can sometimes change dramatically, can't they? There's been numerous cases of people with, you know, they've been told they've got 6 weeks to live, and then suddenly 10 years later they're still there. And
my mum being one of them.
The disease is gone, you know.
You know, she had a form of bowel cancer, and she was told that it was all over, and and you know, she didn't have very long to go at all. And I spent a fortune taking her on a trip to Paris as a sort of I don't know, the last thing she could have done. And she carried on living for another 10 years.
Did you ask for your money back?
I wanted my money back, but no chance.
The trouble is, these are few and far between, aren't they? You know, I mean, it's... But
you see, Canada, there's been a lot of criticism about the scheme in Canada, isn't there?
More people actually do pass on quicker than that, you know, than live that length of time. Anyway, listen, we're going to take a short break, a short interlude. We will be back with you for the second hour of this morning's show very shortly. But in the meantime, you can go away, get yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or do whatever you like. Because
I sure could.
We will be back with the show, the Grumpies on Spec, here on Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio. And don't forget, of course, we welcome your comments on the Mixcloud chat line. So you're more than welcome if you want to make a comment, please do so. Otherwise, sit back, relax and enjoy it. Go away, make yourself a little drink. We will be back with you very shortly for the second hour of this morning's programme.
Why not join us on the Road to Shamrocks? Thursdays at 11 a.m. live with Rosemary, exclusively here on Spectrum on Air. Meet all the acts from the Shamrocks Festival and find out what makes them special, from Lady Gaga to Queen and all genres in between. This show is not to be missed. So, join Rosemary and the festival artists every Thursday live at 11 a.m. here on Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio.
Hey, my name's Bailey, and you can come see me on the Silent Monkey radio show on Spectrum on Air, Fridays 11 p.m. until midnight, where we play all sorts of alternative music, be it rock, emo, metal. We love it.
It's Spectrum on air, the colorful voice of radio.
All new shows to listen to on Spectrum on Air. Reggae.
Ooh, yeah.
Rock and roll jukebox.
Well, it's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue shoe.
And country go. All new shows on Spectrum on Air. Visit our website on spectrumonair.com or listen on Mixcloud Live.
Don't forget, you can listen to this radio station on the Get Me Radio platform. Download the Get Me Radio app and listen on your Android or Apple mobile phone, and a whole range of TV apps such as Roku, Fire, Android and Apple TV. You can also listen on Alexa and Google Home devices. Just search for Get Me Radio. Download the apps and listen to this radio station on your favorite devices.
If you love electronic music, then you need to tune in on Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. with me, Suzanne Letting, on Let's Get It On. Each week, I am going to be bringing you brand new releases. So if that kind of music is your cup of tea, then why don't you join me Saturdays at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Repeated on Mondays at midnight and 1 a.m. and again on Thursdays 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. So grab that cup of tea, that cup of coffee, or even a glass of wine, and let's get lost in some music together on Let's Get It On the radio station that brings colour to the airwaves, Spectrum on Air.
New smart apps with our advanced ways for viewing XP-TV1. You can now view us on Samsung Galaxy Store, Apple App Store, Google Play, Roku, Samsung Smart TV's App Store, and Apple TV, Huawei, Amazon Fire Stick, and App Store. XP-TV1. Tomorrow's TV broadcasting today.
You are listening to Spectrum on Air. The colourful voice of radio.
I'm Barry. I'm Bob Bluffield. I'm Alan Mallion. Together we are the Grumpy Old Men.
Every Saturday morning between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Only on Spectrum on Air. Often controversial, sometimes fun, but never dull. The Grumpy Old Men bring you their slant on world events and current affairs. 8 to 10 Saturday mornings. And welcome back to the second hour of this morning's show, and a warning that this show contains a free speech from the presenters, which may upset or offend. And incidentally, if you missed any of the show, then it is available to you all during the day on YouTube, because YouTube is actually recording the show, and you can watch back to your heart's content here on YouTube. Right, okay, we are all back with you now. We've all had our cups of tea, cups of coffee, and all the rest of it. But on we go with the show, and there's a warning that a secretive gang of cyber criminals last week claimed to be behind the hacking attacks wreaking havoc on Britain's high streets, warning that this is just the start. The group, called Dragon Force, said it and its affiliates, which may include the scattered spider crew of teenage hackers, are responsible for attacks on Marks & Spencer, the Co-op, and Harrods. The hackers claim to have stolen millions of customers' data and said they are trying to force their victims to pay a ransom. It came as the Co-op said that the personal data of customers, including names and contact details, had been stolen after cyber criminals accessed its systems, with the information watchdog highlighting that a similar situation could have taken place at M&S. Could have taken place. I mean, come on. It did take place, didn't it? It did. I mean, M&S is still in a situation, I think, where they haven't got themselves back to normal yet.
Yeah, and the co-op. I went to the co-op yesterday, and the shelves were bare.
Yeah,
no fresh fruit, no mushrooms.
No mushrooms.
There was no mushrooms at the co-op. And I said, "Is this a result of hacking?" She said, "Yes." She said, "It's hilarious. We're going back to doing things on paper."
Yeah.
Oh, because they got hacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your views on this, Bob? I mean, I just read out that it's this group, Dragon Force.
Yeah, who are they working for?
And Scattered Spider. Yeah.
Who's paying for them?
Well, this is the question, isn't it? Who is paying for them? One, or secondly, is it just a bunch of little weirdos, teenagers, who got together on the dark web and decided that they'll have a go at this? Make themselves immediate millionaires,
Yeah, I can't see why they're targeting these particular companies if that was the case.
Well, because they can get ransomware out of them.
Yeah, I know, but why these particular companies? I don't know.
Well, why any company? You got to target a company that can afford to pay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've been paid for by a foreign state. To be honest.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Why? I think we're living in cuckoo land. That it's by these bunch of lads and all that.
Well, they probably are, but they're probably who are they? I mean,
let's face it. Any company, anybody that pays a ransom for anything, kidnap or anything like that, I mean, must know that they're still going to be open to another bite at the cherry, as it were.
Of course they are,
and therefore don't pay it.
Yeah. Well, this is the advice that they're given, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, all right, if I don't know. I don't know what the answer to it is, but I think that it is slightly more disconcerting, and I think that the powers that be are keeping a lot of what they know away from the public domain because they don't want to start fear and consternation into the public.
Yeah, and I mean, how does it also tie up with the power cuts in Europe? I see Tenerife had one.
Yeah,
they had a blackout, didn't they?
Yeah,
I think it's Russia flexing its muscles and saying, "Look, this is what we can do. This is the power we've got.
Yeah,
you mess with us, pal. This is what's going to happen, but it's going to happen big time."
I think the thing is,
there's a sort of assumption that we don't have something to come back at them with.
We probably have.
We've got some of the best hackers in the world.
Well, how do we know?
Like Bill down the pub told me.
Yeah.
This is it, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I don't think we're being told anything. I think there's an awful lot going on that we're not being privy to.
Yeah.
Particularly like these terrorists again, isn't it? Now, let's make up they were going to attack the Israeli embassy, and maybe they were, but you don't know what the truth is.
To be honest, I'm surprised that they actually made a news story. I'm surprised that the government didn't put a D notice on it.
They don't have D notice anymore.
Do they?
No. There's something similar, but it's not not mandatory. Nobody's ever had to follow it.
No.
It's an advisory thing,
Well, there's a story in the press about it at the moment saying the British ringleader of the hacking group thought to be behind the Marks and Spencer cyber attack fled his home after masked thugs burst in and threatened him with a blowtorch. Tyler Bitcham, 23, is suspected boss of the Scattered Spider group gang who crippled the supermarket over Easter weekend, wiping hundreds of millions off its market value and leading to suspension of online shopping for the weekend. So, what's going on?
Well, it may well be a group that's doing it, but they're being paid. I mean, look at Iran, for example. It could be Iran, couldn't it? They don't use their own people, do they? Normally they bring in outsiders to do the dirty.
It's a murky world, and who's manipulating who about what is very complicated to get to the bottom of. But one thing's for certain, it's not going to stop anytime soon.
No.
It's just going to get worse.
Of course it is.
In fact, I think Mike's the next target. I understand the Spider Group have had a secret meeting over the weekend, last weekend that was, that over the coming weeks they're going to hack Mike's internet connection and get all his secrets.
We've already done that, haven't they?
They've already done it.
Oh,
they've already done it.
Oh, it's already happened. Sorry.
Well, I had a strange thing last night. I was talking to the little box in the corner. You know, I wanted some music played, and it said which member of your contact list you want to contact.
Yeah.
How come my contact list is on there? They know about my contact list.
Well, it is, because that's a facility that she offers. Because the thing is you see, like if I want to talk to you, I can do it not on a telephone, but I can do it through her. Because if I say to her, so you know, I give her a name and then contact Bob, please. She'll say, yeah, hang on a minute, and you're
I've never tried it. So I try it live on air.
No.
I'm going to try it live on air. Alexa,
hang on, because
Barry.
My Alexa, I can't get hold of my Alexa because it's in another place, so I won't even hear it. So you'll cause all sorts of problems. So
you can talk to mine.
Yeah, do it to Alan's, to Bob's.
Right. Alexa, end. He's asking which Mike Barry.
Yeah, well, ask her to do Bob Bluffield.
No, well, I don't have Bob's telephone number in my contact list.
Don't you?
No, for some reason.
Alexa, contact Alan Mallion.
Which contact? Alan Green, Alan Price, or Alan Mallion?
Alan Mallion.
Which contact? Alan Green, Alan Price, or Alan Mallion?
Alan Mallion.
I'm having trouble understanding.
That's good, isn't it? Doesn't work.
She'll probably say, you know what Alan Mallion, you know, the famous one on Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the colourful voice of radio, we are going to be broadcasting live today and tomorrow from the site of the Shamrock Festival down there in the New Forest. And I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be such an exciting day for Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio, actually booming out all over the site, because we're just going to be doing so many things. We're going to be interviewing the guests, there's the stars, and mixing with the stars in the pub and all that sort of the beer tent, you know. And we haven't been invited, but never mind. We could go gate crash it.
Why have we been invited then?
Well, we're too old. Too old image for Spectrum. That's the thing, you see, because they want youngsters.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it's going to be a fantastic day for Spectrum on Air, and I'm really looking forward to it. All my appliances will be logged on to Spectrum on Air all during the day.
Well, your washing machine.
Dig around and listen to Shamrock. They've got so many. I mean, Shamrock is it's what do you call it? You know, these bands that aren't the bands.
They're not real.
Yeah, no. What's the word I'm looking for? Tribute bands. That's right. Tribute bands. Oh, I forgot my words then for a moment.
Oh no, that's terrible. Isn't it?
Probably why we haven't been invited. But it's tribute bands, and sometimes the tribute bands are actually better than the real thing.
Perhaps it would be the grumpy old senils, eh?
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a band called the Illegal Eagles. They're terrific. They really are good.
The
Beatles, and they're good.
The Beatles, Rolling Stones and Elton.
I've seen
Gideon Park who did Beach Boys stuff. I thought they were awful. I thought they were quite good.
Yeah,
there was a tribute concert on in Campbell Park last year, which I went to, and a couple of the acts weren't very good, to be frank, but some of them were absolutely amazing.
I saw Brian Ferry one; he was dreadful.
The one that did Queen was just superb.
Yeah,
but it's embarrassing though when you go to that sort of thing, and I'm an avid fan of the Shadows, and I love the Shadows, and I love all their music and everything, you know, but I went to a Battle of the Bands once, and there was a little lad there, and he was trying to take off Hank Marvin, you know. It was so sad. It was unbelievable, you know. I could have played better than he did on a mouth organ, you know.
Well, this is the thing as well, when they try to look like them as well, isn't it? They don't sort of quite work, does it?
No.
The Bootleg Beatles, they were at a friend of mine's wedding. They must have paid a fortune for them, and they do reasonably look like the Beatles, actually.
Yeah,
why that is, I don't know. And the bloke who plays George Harrison also plays left-handed.
Yeah,
So, got it down to a fine tea, really.
When my daughter got married, her then husband, as they're now separated, but her then husband put the Cure tribute band on in a big marquee in the garden, you know.
Yeah.
It was it really was good if you like the Cure, you know, but a bit too different from me. But there we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I am talking about the Shamrock Festival down there in the New Forest this weekend, today and tomorrow. So tune in to Spectrum on Air. If you can't get down there, tune in to Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio, and you'll get all of the excitement of the festival itself. Now, then, doctors are threatening to strike. That's just months after they got a 22% pay rise, eh? Resident doctors in England will ballot for a strike action over pay just 8 months after getting that 22% rise. British Medical Association said 3 weeks had passed since it warned the government of the consequences of the absence of a reasonable, timely pay offer. Well, actually, I would reckon that 22% is quite a reasonable pay offer, you know.
It's almost a quarter of their salary, isn't it?
Yeah, resident doctors are, now this is a new word, you see, resident doctors, formerly junior doctors, refers to more than 50,000 qualified medics working in GP practices and hospitals, from graduates to those with decades of experience. So, you know, this is what bemuses me, you know, because they get all this pay rise and they know the government's going to pay it. So what do? Wait a couple of months and then say, oh, actually, we want another pay rise.
Well, they got 22%, but that was over, I thought it was over a 2-year period.
It doesn't matter how many periods it's over, does it? It's still a lot of money, 22%.
Yeah.
More than you're getting. It's more than I'm getting. It's more than Bob's getting.
Yeah, more than in a lifetime, I think. So.
We don't, yeah. I mean, we don't get that sort of pay rise on a pension, do we?
No. I just, you know, the one this week, would I get about another couple of quid?
Yeah, that's
seven quid increase, I think it was. You know, no good amount of beast, really, is it? You know, when everything, again, more notifications and things, price increasing this week.
Well, I when I get to my magic age of, I will do later on this year, I'll get an extra 5p a week, I think, something. Pension.
God,
it's not worth, you know, it's not worth processing it.
No.
You know, but I mean, and talking about the doctors, I mean, I had to go for a blood test on Thursday, and the practice sent me a reminder about it, and they also said that any blood tests not authorised by a clinician would not be tested. So I thought, well, that's a bit hairy, scary, you know. And then I thought, well, okay, fine. This blood test has been authorised by a clinician, so I'm okay. But when I went along to it, I actually said to the nurse, I asked for a PSA test last time. I said, but they didn't do it, you see. And she said, no, because it's a specialist one. It has to be authorised by the doctor. So I said, well, that's a bit of a waste of space. And I said, because I'm here with you now, but I've got to now go and try and make an appointment to see the doctor. The doctor will then make an appointment for me to see you. So I'm tying up two people's time.
Yeah.
All for the sake of the fact that I'm sitting here now and all you've got to do is you know, take a little bit more and split it and send it off. So she said, oh, well, all right, yeah, I'll see what you mean. But she said, that's the rules, you know.
Yeah, the reason being they have to pay for them.
Yeah. And then she looked on the screen, so she said, well, you had one done in March.
Oh.
So I said, did I? Because I actually asked the girl for it, but I couldn't see the results.
Yeah, right, it's similar experience, and I didn't know if they'd done it or not. And I just mentioned, and they said, oh, yeah, everything's all right. But they didn't actually specifically say whether I had been tested.
No. Well, she did look on mine and said, no, she said it was tested and you were all clear, you know. So I sort of, but isn't it? I mean, the point I'm trying to make here is it's joined up thinking, because
indeed, but there isn't any.
Yeah, I mean, why had I because I mean, this business of phoning a doctor is unbelievable, because I think unless you're at death's door, or got something that is they can see. I mean, I had an appointment the following morning from my medical centre. But that was after I'd got a mole on my back, and my wife said, "Oh, I don't like the look of that." So I contacted the local GP.
Was digging up the garden
centre, and they said, "Right, well, can you send us a photograph?" So I sent them my photograph. They said, "No, we want a photograph of the mole."
You're supposed to get that if it gets you back if nobody else is with you.
Well, yeah, this is it, yes. It's sort of like a selfie in a mirror, But I sent that to them that day, and next thing I got was a reply saying, "Can you come and see the doctor at 9:00 tomorrow morning?" Magic.
Yeah.
And I went to Willen and saw the doctor that morning, who said, "No, it's nothing to worry about. It's just an old man's mole, So.
I was digging up earth, was it, on your back?
Well, yeah.
Chucking earth all over your back.
Well, it's...
but mountains can become molehills, can't they?
Yeah?
Molehills can become mountains, shall I say.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean... Of course, I go in with Francis on... When was it? Last week. Can't remember what day it was. Thursday, whenever it was. And I said, "Can I make an appointment, please?" I know it was Tuesday. "Can I make an appointment?" And no, you got to ring at 8 in the morning. I said, "But I need an appointment now. I can't. It's about my knee." And no, we can't make advance appointments. Why not? Why can't they make advance appointments? Wouldn't everybody know where they stood then?
Yeah,
the doctors know what workload they got. The patients would know they could see their doctor.
Yeah,
it's an absolute blooming farce. I mean, who makes these rules?
Well, I don't know, but they're not
the doctors.
Yeah, and they're not joined up either, because again, we used to have a system on our online appointment system where you could go on, and it would show you during the course of the day what spaces were available to the from the doctors.
What a good idea!
And but I mean, eventually, obviously they people clicked on them, and if you didn't go on there fairly early on, of course, you didn't. You couldn't get one, but you could see the following day or the following day, So maybe if it suited you, you could put one on for, say, next Tuesday.
Yeah.
You'd look on next Tuesday and there would be, 8 or 9 appointments with different doctors at the practice.
Yeah.
And you would click on one and make an appointment with it. But
that's too sensible, isn't it?
Well, of course it is. And now they've got this thing where you've got to go through to a triage receptionist, who's probably 17 years of age, just out of school.
You don't want to tell these people your private health things, do you?
I've got a pain. Whereabouts is the pain? Well, it's in my stomach. Well, is it left-hand side or right-hand side?
Yeah.
What's the right-hand side? Well, is it the upper or lower stomach? And then he said, "Well, I don't know what that is, but I'll refer you to the doctor." And then they say, "Well, the latest thing is that, in our practice anyway, is that the doctor will call you, probably between 10 and 12, but they'll only call you once. So if you don't answer it, or you miss it, you've had it.
So you're in a toilet having a pee or something, you miss
you sit there waiting on the phone and all the rest of it, and I mean, excuse me.
Yeah, it's not acceptable, is it? It simply isn't acceptable.
Well, where's the days gone where, you would go into the doctor's receptionist and you would sit there.
Yeah, shuffle around here when somebody moved up, didn't it?
All shuffle down the chairs, yeah. And, if you were in there and there were 20 people, and the receptionist would probably say, "Right, look, it's unlikely that the doctor will be able to see you until later on this afternoon." So you go, "Oh, all right, okay, well, I'll go,
Yeah.
But invariably you sat there and the doctor went through it. And
they'd also come to your house if you were that ill.
Well, that's right. I mean, my doctor, who I don't particularly like, he sent me off for two tests and said, "Book a double appointment with me." So I went, "Well, okay, fine." So I booked the double appointment with him, So that was 20 minutes I had with him. I walked in there. He said, right, well, I got the results of your X-ray. They're okay. They're clear. Got the results of your COPD scan, and that's clear. So it's totally clear. You're all right. I said, well, what's wrong with me? He said, I don't know, And that was it. So that took roughly a minute.
Yeah.
19 minutes left, to which I couldn't say anything, couldn't do anything.
I know. Well, my doctor now, she was working 3 days a week, and then she's gone down to 2 days a week, but now she only works 1.5 days a week.
Yeah.
So I said to her, is she retiring? Is she thinking of retiring? She said, well, I don't know. She's my doctor too. It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. The point is, though, of course, that the next time I go to the doctor, I'm gonna look at my watch when I get in there, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna stay in with him for 10 minutes. If he sort of says, well, yeah, I'll prescribe you so and so. Yeah, okay, fine, thanks very much. Right, well, how are you getting on? Have you planted your tomatoes yet in the garden and that? And he'll say, well, what do you want? I'll say, look, I've still got 5 minutes left.
And they look at you. They don't actually tell you to go. They look at you, say, okay. And you say,
anything else?
Yeah. And you said, oh,
something for the weekend.
You get this sort of idea they want you to leave, don't you?
Well, I'm just bemused by it all, especially when you sit there and then the doctor says, you say to him, well, what's actually wrong, They say, well, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Say, hang on a minute, you're the doctor. I went there one time and I said to him, I've got a urinary tract infection. So he looked at me and says, he said, I'm sorry, I didn't realise you were qualified. So I said, sorry, I don't know what you mean. He said, well, qualified to tell me what you've got, I said, well, I'm not qualified, as you know, but I said that I have had this several times in my life. I said, I know what the pain is, I know where it is, and I know what it is. So I said, well, why have you come to see me? So I said, because I need antibiotics for it.
Oh, you're telling me what I need now, do you?
Yeah, well, this was it. So he said, well, all right, I'll prescribe you some antibiotics then. I thought, I'll tell you what, I don't like.
Kind of him, isn't it?
Well, it was very kind of him.
Condescending, isn't it? It's above the call of duty, isn't it? In Cyprus, you can buy antibiotics over the counter.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy a lot of them
in much of Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And France and all sorts of things.
Now they're trying to lumber a lot of this onto the pharmacies, aren't they? And the pharmacies haven't got the time to do it. You go to the pharmacy, you've got a bloody queue a mile long.
Yeah.
And even if they've got your prescription electronically, 6 weeks before, it's still not ready. You have to wait for it. We'll get it ready now. Go, have a seat for 5 minutes. That 5 turns to 20. Yeah. I often joke when I go to my pharmacy, I should have brought my lunch with me.
Well, me too, and they just... everybody that comes in and they say, it'll be ready in a minute, we're just doing it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never been to my pharmacy without a queue. Yeah. I've never been in there and seen no queue.
But the thing is, they don't even acknowledge you're there.
No.
You get to the counter and they're fiddling about an hour. You might as well not be there. They don't say, I won't be a moment.
I don't think it's the staff's fault. I think they actually work quite hard. It seems to be a management issue that they just understaffed. There's a sign in Oak Ridge Chemist. I went in yesterday. It says, please be patient with this. We're short-staffed.
Yeah.
There's a big sign up saying that.
Please be patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? They've got these signs up everywhere about staff abuse. We're not accepting this. If any staff are abused, the police could be called. What a time we're living in. You've got to put signs up to say that.
Well, I have seen staff abused, so I understand it.
Well, I know.
In my local co-op, there's some bloke came in and he started slagging the girls. You don't get anything back. Words I can't use on the radio, and it was just horrible. And I just thought, you bully.
Yeah.
You nasty little piece of work.
So why didn't you say something to the bloke?
I did.
What did you say?
I said, leave it out, pal.
What did he say to you?
What's it got to do with you?
Mm.
I said, nothing. I said, but I don't like to see bullying. No.
Well, it's abuse, isn't it?
Then he walked off.
Yeah, it's not bullying, it's abuse.
Oh.
And what was the point?
It's the word that came to mind at the time. So
what was the point of it? What was he trying to achieve?
I've got no idea.
Well, this is it, isn't it? You know, it's. Well, moving on. What do you think about this bloke who's he's been bitten 200 times by snakes, so that he can make the ultimate antidote? Did you hear about this?
Correct. Yeah. No, I haven't.
Well, he's a former truck mechanic, and he allowed himself to be bitten by deadly snakes more than 200 times. It's helping the scientists produce an unparalleled anti-venom. Yeah. Tim Freed, who's 57, has also been injected with a victim of mambras, cobras,
Mambras, yeah.
And all sorts of snakes, more than 700 times.
Where is this? What country?
Raising hopes that, well, he's, I don't know, is it? Oh, it's in the United States.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Winston Johnston from the United States, yeah.
But the antibodies in his blood have been, you know, he's right. They reckon it's brilliant. They can make things by using his antibodies, and it really makes a really good anti-venom. So, you know, it's unparalleled. Unparalleled.
Well, it is unparalleled, but
I guess somebody's got to do it.
Would you nip down the local venom, you know, the venom shop, the snake shop, and say, right, you know, okay, fine. You got any cobras, you know? Right, I want a couple of bites, please, you know.
He injected himself. He didn't actually get bitten.
No, he was bitten. Bitten 200 times. Not injected.
Well, it depends which one. You know, the article I read said injected.
Yeah, more likely, I should think.
Well,
what if they don't bite? Take the bite. Bite the bullet.
You know, you've only got to keep them hungry for a couple of weeks. You know,
but they don't eat. They don't eat for months, do they? They eat a rat and that's it, isn't it? They stop, God knows how long. A lot of them pythons do, don't they?
They do. No, that's right. You know, it's
you have to feed them once a week or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice fresh rat. And they devour it very, very slowly. I smell a rat here.
One of my granddaughters had a, what do you call it when the bloke keeps all these snakes and that as pets?
Reptile.
Not an aquarium. It's a.
Yeah, I know.
Well, there is a word for it, isn't there?
I know there is. Can't think.
No, but he got one of these. And we went in this room in this house, and he'd got all these glass aquarium things with all these flipping snakes and all sorts of things running in them, and he would buy cockroaches, live cockroaches, live mice, and put them into this flipping tank, you know. And I thought it was all right. I didn't stay in the room watching it because he plonked poor little mouse in this great big aquarium thing, and the old snake was slithering around, and the little mouse was running all over the place trying to get away, but. Obviously, I know what happened to the little mouse at the end of the day, but I didn't stand around to watch it, you know. So
yeah,
it's I don't know.
I'm trying to think the word now. What's the word?
It's a aquarium or something, isn't it? Or
no. Alexa, what's the name of a place where people store reptiles?
Petpages.com. Petco is a popular pet store in the US where you can find reptiles and products that suit your needs.
No, stop. That's advertising.
No,
it just come up with an advert for a reptile shop.
In
America.
They call it a pet shop, yeah. But you see, Alan will ask the right question because Alan knows how to ask a question off that lady. And Terry's learning as well, actually, because Terry's got one now. Loves it.
What he does what?
He's got one of those ladies in the corner.
Oh, that's right. Yes. You told me that this morning.
He absolutely loves it. Reckons it's the bee's knees, so.
A verulium or something. No,
Talking about the bee's knees, Spectrum on Air, Colourful Voice of Radio, live broadcasting from the Shamrock Festival this morning down there in the New Forest, and they'll be broadcasting live from around about lunchtime this morning, but they're just getting everything sorted out as we speak. So it's good. You've got to stay locked on to Spectrum on Air, the Colourful Voice of Radio today, all the way through to get some fantastic music. Absolutely fantastic from the Shamrock Festival.
Have you been ordered to say this?
Sorry?
Have you been ordered to say this?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I've got to say it 400 times, and I've only got 398 times left to go between now and the top of the hour. So there we go. Anyway, listen, I find this rather disturbing, to be honest with you. I don't particularly like the bloke at all, and his name is Russell Brand.
Oh, I thought you should say that,
yeah. I mean, all right, he's so far up his own, that he loves himself and that, but to be accused of rape going back to 1999, now that is 26 years ago.
I know. Is it? What's this coming from?
Well, for the woman herself.
No, I mean, the reason for it is it. Could it be that she wants some money? I mean, there's celebrity witch hunts going on all over the place now, isn't there?
It's. I wish we would. I wish we had a statute of limitations. Where things. All right, some things maybe shouldn't have a limitation on them, like murder or something like that, because there has been a couple of cases recently where people have been accused of a murder 20 or 30 years ago.
Because of DNA and things like that, isn't it?
DNA and that, but
Vivarium, that's it. Vivarium, yeah.
Vivarium, that's right.
I did say Viv something, didn't I? Vipo.
Yeah. But 26 years ago. I mean, I can't remember what I did 26 years ago. I can't remember what I did 6 years ago, but I mean,
I can't remember what I did yesterday.
All right, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not exonerating him in any shape or form. And if that was the case, then he should be slammed for it. But
how are they going to prove this?
26 years later, yeah.
Well, I don't like Russell Brand either. I mean, he grates on me. I probably grate on people, but even so, it does seem to me to be a bit trumped up, doesn't it? Not a good man.
That's great. That's just great.
Great, yes, great. But I mean, it doesn't seem right. I mean, this is happening a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think? I think 26 years is a bit. I can understand how somebody doesn't report it immediately because of, trauma. But 26 years is too long.
A bit over the top, isn't it?
Well, the comedian is 49. He was charged last month with rape, indecent assault, oral rape, and sexual assault relating to 4 women. He was granted bail at Westminster Magistrates Court as he spoke to confirm his name, date of birth, and address. He also confirmed that he understood that he had conditions. Brand indeed listened intensely to details of the charges as he sat in the dock. But 26 years.
I know. I must admit, I haven't taken a lot of interest in this case.
I haven't. I mean, I'm not interested in the case itself in any shape or form. What I'm interested
in knowing how this has come about now, why.
That is it. The raison d'etre behind the whole thing, I mean.
Oh, raison d'etre, wow.
Oh, that's a big word, isn't it?
I like that. The reason to be.
French type word, yeah. But I mean, why all of a sudden have these 4, have these 4 women met over a coffee or a...
Well, this is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just sounds a bit like a conspiracy, doesn't it?
Well, it does reek of somebody being a bit money grabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking of which, they've just apparently, the Met got given another £100,000 to investigate the McCann case. Whereas there was an item this week, only marginally appeared somewhere. I can't think where I read it. I think it was in the Telegraph.
The Metropolitan Police have looked at all the evidence and they've concluded that he does have a case to answer.
Who?
Brand.
Oh, you're looking at that case. I'm talking about McCann's.
Sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about McCann.
Yeah, no, the Metropolitan Police have I'll go back to that in a minute. But McCann's have been given, the police have been given another £100,000 to investigate the McCann case. Well, this week there was a minor item hidden away somewhere in the media that said they have now got evidence from the German guy who they were held, the rapist in Germany, from his hard drive, evidence that Madeleine is dead. And that's all I've heard about it. Nothing more has been said about it, which I find a bit strange.
That's weird.
Because they've not said what this evidence is or anything else. I find that all a bit peculiar. Because I thought that bloke was he may well have been in the area at the time, but I think he's been set up by the police because they've got no other evidence. If they were so convinced he'd done it, surely he would have been convicted by now, but they've never been able to charge him.
Well, he's due for a release soon, isn't he?
He is released, isn't he?
Has he been released?
I thought he had been released. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I know it was imminent, and they were trying to find any little loophole that they could get to keep him inside. So I
don't know how the Metropolitan Police have got this evidence from a hard drive of a bloke who's been held by the German police. It just doesn't tie up to me. It just adds more to the mystery, doesn't it?
In a way, it makes a mockery of the whole of the justice system or the policing system, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, I mean, the McCann seems to have got some hold over the police or the government to get all this.
I very much think so.
Keep getting this funding and that, and I mean they're being very shrewd, and I think, as we've said before on the show, Bob, I think there's far more to this case than meets the eye,
Absolutely.
And it's a very high level as well.
Absolutely. Why did Gordon Brown personally ring them the day after the girl went missing?
Yeah.
Why? What was the connection there?
Well, one unfortunately can conjure up all sorts of...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of this we can't say on air. There's a lot of things knocking about because you'll get sued by them.
Yeah,
a lot of the money that went into the fund, which incidentally wasn't a charity, it was a limited company with directors, members of the family of directors, which in itself I find a bit strange.
Yeah,
and a lot of it went on a bogus private investigator who took a load of money and did nothing.
Yeah,
and turned out to be some sort of fraud. There's a lot of questions that are left unanswered in this. Why did they suddenly become great friends with Clement Freud, who turned up on the scene because he got a place there?
Yes.
There's all sorts of twists to this story, and I don't think we'll ever know.
I don't.
I think there's a lot of sinisternness in it.
Well, that girl that pretended she was Madeleine McCann, who eventually did a DNA test, and it was proved that she definitely wasn't.
Yes, sure.
What's all that about? Why would you pretend to be?
Fruitcake. Money, probably.
Money.
Yeah, I suppose it is all about money.
Yeah, normally it is.
It's all about money.
But, the police have spent all this money, and they've got absolutely nowhere, as far as we know, have they? And now they come up with this.
Well, is there...
Which is a week after they got this extra $100,000.
Is there any stone that hasn't been turned over? I mean, they say that there's evidence on this guy's hard drive. Well, why isn't that evidence being put into
facts?
Why isn't it available?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, how come 18 years or whatever it is afterwards that somebody suddenly, I'll tell you what, Fred, let's have a look at his hard drive. I mean. There have been cases like that. I mean, in the rape game, they come up with an embryo that was in a deep freeze in a police storage of a girl that was raped by one of the Pakistani gangs. Wow!
And it did lead to a conviction. I don't think he got convicted in the end. He got arrested, but I think he was let off for some reason.
More than likely, But
yeah. There's so much about that we can discuss, isn't there? About you mustn't say anything because the government won't permit it now. But why is all this protection going out to these people? They know who's involved. They know a lot of who the rapists were. They know who was behind them. I mean, one of them was a Manchester police officer. Another one was the head of social services in Rotherham.
Yeah.
Why aren't these people being jailed?
Yeah.
What is the government trying to hide?
I think this just stems back that a lot of these cases are very high level.
Yeah.
And because they're at high levels, I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the truth was known that the Prime Minister wasn't involved in signing off various things that exonerated people and shouldn't have done.
Oh, I'm absolutely convinced of that. Another thing is with this Radikanko guy, whatever he's called, whatever his name is, the Southport murderer. Why is there no more being mentioned about his father? Now, if your son is making rice in fairly large quantities in his bedroom, wouldn't you sort of have something to say about that? Would you not be aware of that?
So what I mean, the tone of this conversation is that we're just subject to everything being covered up by somebody somewhere.
Yeah, indeed.
And I can't argue with it because it does feel that way.
Yeah, indeed.
I feel that we are not given information that we should be given, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's what caused those riots after those poor unfortunate girls were murdered.
That's right.
The riots were caused by the vacuum of information because it wasn't released.
Yeah, and you've got people like this Connolly woman who's still lingering in jail, was jail for her comment online, and then the things that are going on at these rallies in London. They've now stopped today's rally going through Swiss Cottage and around that area, haven't they? In the very Jewish areas of London, because of the implications of it. But they've been doing this for over a year now. They've been doing this, and they are shouting out anti-Semitic comments and waving banners about. Yet nobody's been arrested for that. It's certainly two-tone. They're arrested who they think they want to arrest. And then you've got what's his name I've forgotten his name now. The guy who's in Belmarsh, who was sent down because he made a film about that was allegedly the guy sued him. A Muslim guy, student at school, sued him because he said he'd beaten up this bloke and he hadn't. So he was done for contempt of court because the judge had told him that this film must be taken down off social media, and he still kept it there. Tommy Robinson.
Oh yeah,
and he's only there because they want to break him and they want to make a political scapegoat of him.
Well, he's due to be released soon, and apparently there's a big when he comes out on his release, there's going to be a big party on that. I mean, a lot of his supporters are going to be there,
and he'll probably join Reform.
Yeah, I mean,
and become deputy prime minister.
I don't like the bloke, but you got to see what's going on here. He said something which he's hit the nail on the head about the rape gangs, and he's being penalised for it. He's been kept quiet. They've got to put him away.
It's so shameful what happened about these rape gangs in Rotherham. I mean, everybody involved in that whole process needs to hang their head in shame because
it's still going on.
But
it's not just Rotherham.
It hasn't stopped anything.
No, it's everywhere. It's not Rotherham, is it? It's everywhere. This week, Channel 5 have been doing a Justice Week, and it showed you the one I've seen so far. I watched one about Wandsworth Jail last night. What a dreadful place! You want to watch that?
Yeah.
Inside Wandsworth Jail, and it's unbelievable. I mean, the conditions and that is terrible, and it should be knocked down. And it's sitting on prime land that affects billions of pounds, as they said, for luxury flats and stuff. And it's a big site, and they could build a purpose-built prison outside London. Anyway, the first one was it took various cases. One of them being the guy that was strung himself up on the Queen Elizabeth Bridge for Stop Oil, who got jailed for 8 months, I think in the end. But there's various cases. And they had 3 different panels. They had judges, a group of judges, had a group of victims, a group of criminals, and what they would give as a sentence for these cases. And then he went back to the case and showed you the real verdict and how they didn't. There was no comparison. You know, bloke. One of the cases where the bloke came out of a pub, absolutely out of his skull, saw this bloke on his phone, and he thought it was his mate's phone. It had been nicked. And he just went up and tried to grab this phone for no apparent reason and thumped the bloke and knocked him right down, and he hit his head. He thumped him a few more times. The guy didn't initially survive, but then he had to have brain surgery. He went back to hospital for more brain surgery, a plate put in his head, and he died of multiple strokes while he's been operated on. And this guy got, I think with this, that, and the other, taken off for the sentence. I think he got a year or something. And it just shows how the sentences really don't match the crimes.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a little bit like most things in life. It depends who you speak to, doesn't it? It depends what judge you get, or it depends, what police officer is involved and what their preferences are on things.
Yeah.
It's like, you ring up some companies for a support call, like the likes of Sky or Barclays or something, and you can get a really helpful person and get things sorted out really well. And then the next day you ring up and a similar problem, you speak to somebody else and it's an absolute nightmare because they don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, but in the justice system, it shouldn't be like that, should it? It's really out of kilter. It's crazy. But you want to watch the series. It's very, very interesting, very eye-opening what goes on.
Right, changing the subject just a little bit, there's nothing quite like a long, relaxing soak to soothe a tired body and ease away the worries of the day. But now experts have come up with a formula for the perfect bath. 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening, with the water temperature at 39.8 degrees centigrade and 22 minutes long. A survey commissioned by British Gas found that adults take an average of 96 baths a year, equivalent of 2 a week, while 1 in 10 people admitted to having had 3 or more soaks in a single day. Nearly a quarter of the 2,000 adults surveyed said that they like the water to be as hot as they can bear when they dip in their toes, usually between 43 and 45, which is several degrees higher than normal body temperature. Separate research, etc., etc., etc. Personally, I don't like baths. I haven't had a bath. I don't remember the last time I had a bath, to be honest.
Not me.
I haven't had a bath in a long time.
Couldn't get in or out, for that matter.
No. Well, this is it. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I've got a sort of large shower, which you sort of walk into. You don't
that's
climb over anything.
Now's the time I need that. Because I can't get in the shower.
Yeah,
because I can't get over the bath.
Well, you come round to my house. You can have my shower, and I'll wash your back for you. And that,
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, just keep you happy, and that, So,
we don't be able to get to your house at this moment in time.
Well, no, this is it, isn't it? It's anyway. Don't forget, of course, that the what you call it? Shamrock Festival.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, well, it's just
it's just a Shamrock Festival show this morning. Then
there are people joining us as we speak, actually, so but it's only because we're coming to the end of the show, but if you did miss any of the show today.
Is the Shamrock Festival going live on there?
You want to hear it? Yeah, we're repeated on YouTube, so you can listen to it anytime to your heart's content. Now, Essex Police have a profitable sideline. That's cultivating cannabis. When officers arrest a grower, says The Economist, they can confiscate assets worth the street value of the drugs seized. Well, the problem is that the plants often haven't fully matured, making it hard to prove in court the true value of the crop. So police have taken to finishing the job themselves, with specialist officers tending the plants. Essex Police. That's the thing, gentlemen, isn't it? If you want to get a little bit of the old, then nip down the Essex police stations and you can buy it off of them.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time this has happened. This was going on at Islington, Stoke Newington police station some years ago, actually.
Yeah?
They weren't actually growing it, but they were involved with a woman who was selling it from a window at the side of her house. It's like a sort of takeaway drive-through, but they had to get out of the car to get to the window on this occasion, but it was just like a takeaway that she was selling drugs, and with the police's blessing, really, because they were involved in overtaking some of the profits.
Oh. Now, here's another little interesting fact for you here on Spectrum on Air. Caterpillars can be incredibly canny. There's a newly discovered species of the insect known as the bone collector, and that hides in spiders' webs by covering itself in the body parts of other insects. The grisly adornments, such as ants' heads and pieces of beetle wings, means that the spiders mistake them for unwanted leftovers, leaving the bone collector to snaffle any real leftovers for itself.
How do you hide in a spider web?
Well, I don't know.
You see a spider web and you just twitch it. It thinks there's something in my web. It looks around and it comes down, doesn't it, to where the twitching has occurred.
I was going to talk about, oh, good Lord, Sir David Attenborough, because he's 99 now, and he's, well, we've got to wish him a happy birthday, really. Cause,
happy birthday, David.
He's not a bad old boy, and
no.
He's
a national treasure, Mike. It's a national treasure.
I hate that term.
Prince of Wales, who paid a heartfelt tribute to David Attenborough just ahead of his birthday, calling him an inspiration to my children and me. Well, there we go. I was intrigued to read in the papers this week, though, that apparently the scientists are somewhat bemuddled, confused, that apparently there's more ice being made in the Antarctic Circle than it's melting.
Really?
Yeah, I read that today.
What?
I read that during the week somewhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is happening? They're talking about all this ice melting.
Well, another thing, isn't it? What do we believe?
Well, this is very true, isn't it?
I think we've got to be careful. And I think we've got to be, do what we can. But do we do this obsession like Miliband's promoting, this net zero? It's ridiculous. And you can't argue for the fact that it's costing everybody a fortune in this country by his antics and what they're trying to promote.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Bankrupt the people and bankrupt the country to save the planet? Then what? Well, yeah, you're going to save the planet if you're the only one doing
it. Alan says, please selling weed, yeah. Weed. Flower pot men.
Well, what was that all about? Yeah, what was that all about then?
Well, what was that all about?
Flower pot men gay, and was weed a weed?
Yeah. No.
What sort of weed was weed?
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you for your company this morning. I think the show has come to an end. The time has beaten us yet again. It always seems to do so on a Saturday. But the show is repeated a couple of times during the week here on Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio. And if you missed any of it, well, get onto YouTube, all right, because you'll be able to see us live in, live. Let's just leave it at that, later on during the day. Have yourself a lovely weekend.
Barely alive.
Have yourself a lovely weekend. But don't forget, as I say, please keep it locked on to Spectrum on Air, the colourful voice of radio, because we are live at the Shamrock Festival down there in the New Forest all day. So, all right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, why don't you join me, Joe Caldwell, on the Real Room Radio Show, Fridays at 8 p.m, here on Spectrum on Air. I play fantastic news releases from a wealth of undiscovered talent, and I'll even be interviewing one or two of them to learn more about them and what makes them tick. So join me, Joe, on the Real Room Radio Show, 8pm Fridays here on Spectrum On Air, the colourful voice of radio.
Enter my world. Join me, Harry Kakuli, in the Alien Temple every Saturday night, 10 o'clock to midnight on Spectrum On Air. Immerse your senses in intense, passionate and seductive music. The Alien Temple.
It's Spectrum On Air, the colourful voice of radio.